Welcome. Thank you all so much for joining the Mid-South Sculpture Alliance online panels. Today's topic is Johannah Hutchison, who is our juror for one of the confab exhibitions that's going to be running through this October, when we're going to be all gathered together with Brian Massey, who's on this call with us over in Central Arkansas. And so as we're prepping for and thinking about all of the things that confab is going to be bringing us, we use these opportunities as a chance to be able to connect and share, but specifically for information about this call. The deadline's coming up pretty soon. And so for a brief introduction, in case you aren't familiar with Mid-South Sculpture Alliance, Mid-South Sculpture Alliance is in its 20th birthday. This year is its 20th birthday. It's an organization that started in Chattanooga and Tennessee, which is why it's called Mid-South, but we have now grown. We're basically a national organization, and we really try to find ways to be able to reach out and connect our network. My role on the board, I also get to serve as the vice president for Mid-South Sculpture Alliance, and I've been on the board for 8 years. And one of my roles is as chair of the online panels. What online panels tries to do is to create opportunities like this one to be able to welcome more people into all of the things that Mid-South Sculpture Alliance offers. Brian's on here with us too. He's also on the online panel. Would you be so kind to introduce yourself? Where are you based and what is it that you do?
My name is Brian Massey. I've been on the board now, I think it's my 4th year as a director of Mid-South. I'm located in Central Arkansas in Conway at the University of Central Arkansas. I'm in the department chair of art and design. My primary medium is I'm a stone carver, sculpture, metalwork, fabrication. And I enjoy just being a part of MSA because it allows us to really reach out to community, reach out to high school kids and young college kids, give them opportunity to see what we can do here with the three-dimensional elements and materials that we work with in 3D.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Brian. And Brian also serves on this committee and helps to make sure that we include as many dialogues. I think that component about education that he just shared is key. He has made sure that we encourage more opportunities where we have education elements within the online panels. So if you look back at our YouTube channel, you can see some encouragement that he's put in where we've had more conversations about grad schools and internships. So thank you, Brian, for your participation and service. And we also have Cassidy Fry on with us. Cassidy, where are you based and what is it that you do with the board?
So I'm based in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I teach at Tulsa Community College. I'm here on the board as, I was an emerging board member for 3 years, took a year off, and now I'm full board member. Had to come back. No, and I'm on the online panels as well as the confab committee. So.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your service. And Cassidy has been a wonderful addition. She was on the online panels before and came back by joining as a professional board member and is now with us and helps us make sure that we have all of the parts together when it comes to the tech elements for our online panels. For today's conversation, as I mentioned at the beginning, our focus is on the exhibition that's coming up. Cassidy, you have a PowerPoint just about ready? Don't share it yet. Just have it ready. Not yet. So today's feature speaker is Johannah Hutchison. Johannah, would you be so kind? Could you introduce yourself? What is it that you bring to all of the things and all of the communities that you're part of?
Well, I have been the executive director at the International Sculpture Center now for 22 years. When I first came, it was a very different organization. A lot has changed in the last 20 years. Mostly how we look at sculpture today. When I first joined, it was a lot about large monumental metal pieces, objects, but now people are defining sculpture in a different way, and we certainly cover all sorts of work that wouldn't have been considered sculpture in the past in Sculpture Magazine. We're a member-based organization, and groups like MSA are what are called an affiliate member of the ISC, which means their group is, oh, sorry, I thought it just went glitchy there for a minute. Their group is gets a discount for being joined to the ISC, and we welcome groups and chapters and any individual members too, but the idea of having an overarching organization where communities can cross over is one of the main important things. Is about community. So that's the basic of the ISC, and I think most people know who I am, but if you don't. I can always chat more about myself, but I'm excited to be here and to jury this exhibition. And actually, I'll be going to the MSA Confab as well. So I'm excited about that. It's been a while.
Well, it's perfect time. This is going to be a great confab to come to and to join us at. And all of the work that you do, you definitely have seen some significant changes in sculpture through Sculpture Magazine, but all of the work that you do with the exhibitions that you coordinate and curate. And so we are so excited by having you as part of this group as we're thinking about these exhibitions. And I'm so glad you're going to be able to join us in Arkansas in October. And for those of you online with us, if you haven't yet, make sure to add to your calendar October 2nd and 3rd. Second are the workshops and demos, and the third is when we're actually having the keynote speaker, which is Bailey Liu, who was on with us for an online panel a week ago. So check that out if you're thinking about applying to that show. And we have multiple things that are going to be happening with Brian Massey, who is our primary host. He's one of the co-chairs for it, and there are so many things lined up. It's going to be a good time. So with that said, Cassie, would you be so kind to share a screen? Presentation mode. Yes, perfect. Yay. Thank you. So this is our, again, a reminder about Conway, Arkansas Confab 2026, which again, as I mentioned, is our 20th birthday of MSA. So please come join us. And if you can't, there are online ways that you can be able to participate as well. For this, right now at MSA, we have 3 exhibitions that are all open calls right now. The outdoor exhibition just closed, and that committee just made its selections for the exhibition that's going to be seen on campus at University of Central Arkansas for a full year. During Confab, as well as other things that MSA has going on, we do have 3 exhibitions that are up and open calls. We have Mining the Material, which is the green one on the screen. That's being, again, as mentioned earlier, juried by Bailey Liu. That deadline is, as it says, June 21, so it's coming up soon. So it's due very soon. Today is the 17th, so get those applications ready. The one that we're talking about today is the open call that's juried by Johannah Hutchison. This does not have a theme. It's an open call, but you do have to be a member to apply. So if you aren't a member or if your membership has lapsed, make sure to update that. And we just opened another call. This one is going to be at Middle Tennessee State University, and applications are due in July. So you have a month to prep that one. So that's coming up, but we just want to make sure to put that reminder in there today. And so with that said, I'll pass over the screen mic to Joanna, if you would. We thought that it'd be a great opportunity to learn about your work as a curator, as a curatorial mind when it comes to how do you generate opportunities and community within all of the opportunities that you set out, as well as you're invited to be a part of, like this one.
Yeah, well, I maybe should have just added at the beginning when I was talking that the ISC just moved to Pittsburgh, if people don't know that. And we have a gallery, which is the first time that we've ever had a front-facing building. So we're actually very excited about having that gallery. So we're now curating shows for that. We're thinking about getting some guest curators. We're experimenting with it a little bit. We've only had it for a year. So we're also using it as community space. Since we've been an organization that hasn't had a front facing, whenever we've done exhibitions, we've always partnered with someone. So we've never had our own exhibition space. So we're very good at partnering because we've never had our own space. So now that we do, we're opening up to people that they can put in proposals for exhibitions, but we're also opening up for community space. So we don't charge anybody, but if they want to come and have a meeting there or in between shows, we might do a pop-up show or a fashion show. There's all sorts of things in the works. So we're sharing our space as community space as well as a gallery. So we're pretty excited about that. Then a little bit of history for me. I've been on a lot of panels for public art, sculpture walks, student award exhibitions, chapter exhibitions. But I thought I'd highlight a couple of projects that I have worked on to just talk about these particular ones. So this here is in Omaha, and it's called the Jean Leahy Mall. And if you're looking on your screen, you can see on the left-hand side, there's sort of some bare looking sections going up the left-hand side. So that's the sculpture walk there. And I was very excited to be involved in this because I was involved from the beginning. The architects and planners had built that, and they put 5 pads in there and then decided that they need someone to curate it. So I was working with a private / public contract, and I was able to work with the CNACO and create a right from the ground up, a great contract for the artists for being in there, and a 3-year program, and made sure that the contract was very artist centric. So every 3 years, we're just on the second round of it. So that's evolving. And if you look at it now, the plants are completely overgrown. So the type of sculptures that we would put in there are different. So I always think about, when I'm curating something, what are the constraints? And I call them enabling constraints, because I just feel that whatever you have, you work with, and instead of trying to fight it, you just see it as that's what I'm working with, and how can I make the most of that? So with this particular one, the plants were not in when we started curating the first round for this. And it was very different by the time the sculpture went in. And also, they already had 5 pads in there. They didn't think about asking what a pad should look like and where it should be. So sometimes you go into curating something, and for example, this one, I've got 5 pads and they're a certain size, so if we'd have been involved earlier, or if it was something different, I wouldn't have had those constraints. But like I said, I call them enabling constraints, and we got some great pieces in there. So if we go to the next slide, you can see here there's a lot more plants in it. And if you look, it's still a little bare. It's really exploded now the second time round. But we were using this as a model. So the first year around, I curated. It was very quick. And then the second year around, I decided that it would be best to get some guest jurors for it. So I chose 4 separate jurors that came from very different backgrounds, mostly artists, so that we could get some very different artwork in the next time around. So I think if you're doing something over and over, it's really a good idea to change perspective so that you get a fresh outlook or a different outlook. So it became more engaging the next time around, and we did a lot more programming because it was brand new the first time. So I've been using this as a model and trying to work with other organizations to help them jury or curate their own space, so that people that don't have a curator in a sculpture park or something, to use this as a model. So next slide. So this is at the Morris Museum. So this was the first time that the Morris Museum, this is in New Jersey. This is the first time that the Morris Museum were putting sculpture outside. There was mostly indoor work, and they really didn't have any outdoor work. So it was very exciting. But again, it was restricted with what they had, as far as they weren't set up for an outdoor sculpture park. They just had outdoor space. So I really enjoyed curating this. I like to see things that aren't expected. So this isn't that large of a piece, but you come across it. And I like to see things that are a little different or unexpected. And then the next slide. Oh, that was Joss Urso, by the way. And these are all New Jersey artists. It was other pieces, Jill Cipponi. I love this piece just because you don't necessarily see it. And if you put the next slide on, you can see that people really have to look up to find it and explore it, rather than just a sculpture just in the park or on the ground. So people had to discover this. So that's what I liked about this. It was the first time they put work in there. So they were open to exploring things. And I think the patrons of the museum were excited to shift into this moving outside. So those are the type of things that I like to see, something a little different, something that people clearly will be intrigued about or interact with. And then the last one. This here actually is almost the opposite of curating. And I put this in because I feel like there's many ways to decide on what goes where. So this is a pop-up in Pittsburgh. Since we're new to Pittsburgh, we're just trying out all sorts of ideas. And this is something I did myself. It's not with the ISC. But a there's lots of work going on. It's a post-industrial city. It's developing. And the street where our gallery is, they've just built a new block of apartments, and some of the empty spaces are now starting to get activated. So this was next door to a coffee shop, and they're waiting for a new tenant to move in. So they just one Friday, they said I could have the space for 4 weeks. So I'm like, oh, I could get people, but they'll all be my friends. Like, that's not right. And then I thought, well, I'm going to play into that. So I picked 5 friends and I said, put a piece in, and then just over the next 4 weeks, each person invites another friend and another friend. So it's really not curated apart from the fact that you're a friend of someone. So I sort of played into this, we're choosing somebody that we know. So it actually has been extended now, but you can see from the work here, it's varied. There was no sculpture to start with, and then they opened up a little bit more space. So there is some sculpture now. But that was just another way to curate or not curate an exhibition, and it's turned out really well. Do I have another picture after this or not? No, is that my last picture? That's my last picture. So I've curated indoor shows, just a crazy little pop-up, which has been fun. So I think, to me, one of the main things about during something is, does it make me ask some questions? Does it intrigue me? Do you take a second look at it? Do you see it once and then you see it again? So those are sort of things that I look for. And I love an open call. Sometimes I find it's not an open call, people try to make their artwork fit into whatever the call is. And I find that really difficult. It's not that I don't like the work. I really like the work sometimes, but it doesn't fit into what the call necessarily is. So I don't know if you want me to talk any more about this particular
This helps
exhibition
so
at our
much.
jury or not.
Yes. Well, no, we'll continue to share. Thank you for sharing about the range of ways that you've utilized spaces and welcomed a wider and wider range, like with each opportunity, for how it is that you brought people together. And so in maybe more traditional fashions, but then like that recent one where it was like almost like a chain letter, where one person invited another person. And so how is it that we can create access and opportunity? So I really appreciate hearing that. And your support of an open call. That makes you even that much more the perfect juror for this show.
I love an open call.
Nice. And so just a quick reminder before we talk more specifically about this show and how people can apply. And just again, a reminder, deadline for this show, as well as for Mining the Material, which are both exhibitions that are going to be happening at University Central Arkansas, where Brian Massey is located and made these possible at all. Like, he made sure that the galleries are available for us for this length of time. So thank you so much, Brian. And so both, as Cassidy is using the little cursor, so both of these are due Sunday, June 21st at midnight. So click send, get your applications in. Let's make Joanna and Bailey work extra hard, give them all the things to look at. And then again, looking ahead to Friday, July 24th, the next exhibition, which is going to be over at Middle Tennessee State University over in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. That call just opened. And so keep an eye on that date too. So Cassidy, if you'd be so kind, let's share a little bit about how can somebody apply if you are interested, if this is something that you do have on your calendar to get in by the 21st. This is a screenshot of the Mid-South Sculpture Alliance website. And so if you go to the front page and you click on the specific component for getting to this, like you click on that little advertisement for this exhibition, you're looking for this apply here button. On this page, it describes, yes, perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Cassidy. So the overview of this is that it is, again, it's an MSA Select, and our Select exhibitions mean that it's membership only, professional level and higher membership to be able to be in this show. And it's, again, it's an open call. So there's no theme, just send in your best work, and Joanna's going to get to choose which pieces we all will be able to experience at the confab. Looking at the dates again, the call deadline, the 21st. You're going to hear back by July 7th on whether or not you have the work in. Shipping the art to get it to Brian is to be due to him by August 7th. In-person delivery is a little bit later. You have a little bit longer if you're going to be delivering it in person to be able to work with him if there's something special that you need to install or be able to do yourself. And then the exhibition dates are September 1st through October 1st. So a nice month-long show with all the student eyeballs, finishing with the confab exhibition or the confab gathering for the exhibitions. We'll have even more eyeballs, all the viewing. So next page, yes. So again, here's those dates. Arts eligibility, again, professional visual artists, age 18 or older, and that are professional members of MSA. You can re-up or join at the minute that you are actually applying. So it doesn't have to be that you've been forever member. We love those people, but you can also join now and specifically be able to apply to this show and apply to the other exhibition on Material Matters. You can apply to both in the same night and join at the same time. Next. Scale. Couple of things. Brian, would you be so kind to talk about this? You know this really well, because obviously you are in this space. This is a brand new gallery, a brand new building. And so what are some things that people should know about the artwork scale, packaging, limitations, restrictions, all those fun parts? You're muted right now.
All right, sorry about that. Well, in the Baum Gallery is actually was a new facility built in the 90s, but it's attached to McCastlin Hall, which was part of the cafeteria. So there are some types of limitations, like the doors width, the loading dock weren't changed at all. So we do have some limitations on height and width and some weight in the Baum Gallery because of fire codes. We can't install things that hang from the ceiling, things of that nature. But anything 175 pounds or less, we can deal with to get it through the door, 6 feet in any direction. If it's 6 feet in one direction and 8 feet in the other, we can lay it down and get it through the door. So those things we have to think about when it comes to the Baum Gallery exhibition. But with the Wingate, the Common Thompson Gallery, we have like 12-foot doors that are tall, they swing open. So getting large pieces into that gallery won't be an issue.
Excellent.
So, and for wall hanging work, it's just 75 pounds. Is what we said is the limit.
Yeah.
75 pounds in any one spot.
And I must say, we just got the floors redone, so they're looking brand spanking new in the Baum Gallery. So the gallery and the walls have all been painted, ready for the exhibition to be put in place.
Wonderful. It's gonna be great. Next. And for a little visual, the highlighted spaces, this is the space that Brian was just describing of the Baum Gallery. And so Joanna, the spaces that you're going to be curating for are the highlighted ones. So you get three galleries.
That's what I'm excited about, actually, because I feel, I mean, once I see the work, I feel like I'll be able to really piece pieces together and make really great environments in all of the galleries. So I think that's, I'm excited about that.
Excellent. Next. And if you click the apply here button on that front, at the top of that front page, then it's going to open up a Google form. This is what the Google form looks like. It's this lavender color, but it's a lot of the same information as that is also on that website page. But if you would like to print it out, you can use the website one. And then it goes through just a reminder about what the application requirements are. There's an entry form, which is this Google form, and then an artist statement, an artist bio statement, and those will be used in the catalog. So just make sure that you have it proofread the way you like it. And then images, up to 3 artworks. So with your submission, you can have up to 3 artworks, but you can have up to 10 images to document those 3 artworks. And then there's details in the form as well as on the website for how to be able to format those so they're not too large and they're all equally seen, and that they actually do open. Next.
Yeah, and making sure that you title it properly so it can be organized properly, please, and thank you.
Yes, please. Don't just title it Sculpture 1 and Sculpture 2, because then it's going to just go with everybody else's in a hard to find way. And then an image list, create an image list that helps to describe each of the pieces that you are uploading, and save that with title, date completed, media, dimensions, weight of artwork, description of how the artwork would be installed or hung if it's not evident. And then you can include an optional description about the artwork. Sometimes a piece might need a little bit more information than the artist statement and the images can be able to convey. You might not need it. That's why it says optional. You're not required. This is not a component that is needed for the assessment, but sometimes it does help to explain. Like if there's an olfactory component, scratch and sniff is not yet on our computer screens. And so if there is an olfactory element to it, explain that. If the piece opens up and maybe it's not clear in the images, if there's maybe a book-like component and you're to handle it, explain that, but it's an optional description. This is also where you can indicate if your membership is current. If you click no, then we just obviously expect you to then fix that so that you can have your piece or your submission assessed. And then this is where you're going to upload those files that we just described. So you're going to upload 1 file for each one. Then this is where you can upload the images. You can upload them as separate file, but it's preferred if it is actually all combined together into a PDF. And then similarly, here's your image list. And then you click submit, and then you will get an email response that you actually did do it correctly. If you are not sure, if you are worried, email us at admin for Mid-South Sculpture Alliance and be able to follow up to make sure if you are worried at all. Here are those 3 open calls. This one that we're talking about is that bright blue one with the yellow right in the center. So if you are interested in applying to this one, go to our website, click on that big button right in the center, and it'll open up that form. Nice. So you can unshare. Oh, there one last reminder. One last reminder of this part. Please make sure mark your calendars. Registration is going to be opening soon, and that includes registration for the workshops and demos on Friday. You can also apply or register for the dinners and the lunches, all of the things. You can get all of those together. There are also some other support elements when it comes to different types of registration. So make sure to check in on those. If you have any questions, again, email admin at Mid-South Sculpture Alliance and we will help you out. So while we have Joanna and Brian both here, we're just going to get a little bit more information to help everyone as they're preparing their applications. And I'm going to check my YouTube feed in just a second to see if there's any questions on the chat. But Joanna, you did a lovely job of explaining some of the things that you're curious about when you've been curating and the way that you've handled those types of opportunities. Could you talk a little bit more about whenever you're thinking about an open call and you're going through and assessing, is there anything that for you helps when somebody's applying?
Yeah.
What would help make an application feel clear, compelling, help you be able to understand?
Really good photos. I mean, really good photos. You've got 10 images you can put there. So if it's interesting on another side or, you use your photos wisely. If you've got 10, use them wisely. Sometimes you can get 10 photos of all different things. And if there's one piece that's really great, put your images to that. And then I do like the optional descriptions. I think it really makes a difference. Often, you look at a work and you just see it static there. But when there's that optional description that explains why something is there, the artist statement doesn't necessarily explain the work or explain deeply the meaning, or sometimes a little personal story in there, why something, those things really make a difference to me. And I like to know if a little drawer pulls out, or even if you can't do that, to know that that happens, that really makes a difference. I think interacting with the work, not just visually, I like that. I think I like to know that you can do something else with it than just look at it. Or you can get a sense of the feeling that went into making that work. So those optional descriptions, I think, are very good. They take you to a different place than a statement. So, and then there's lots of walls we've got 3 galleries with lots of walls. So I think about that. If it's a sculpture exhibition, so lots of people submit sculptures, but something 3-dimensional that goes on a wall that doesn't go on a pedestal will be great. So sometimes it's all glass, but there is a lot of walls in this space. So sort of take that into account as well. So those are some of the things that that help me when I'm looking at something.
That definitely helps. You answered so many questions at one time, because I was also thinking about, no, you like read my brain. So I was also thinking about, no, it's a good thing. It's a good thing because they all connect together. And so like you said, clear documentation and helping to, like, you can't read everyone's brain the way you just read mine, but you can't, when it comes to like understand like what's going on. Why did they choose this material?
Yeah.
What, like when you're walking around it, what's something that maybe gets revealed that an image followed by an image might not really show. And so, yeah, that helps a lot to know that you're looking for that additional data.
Yeah. Yeah. I think connecting with the work is really important. So I think the right images, and I do like that optional description. I think it helps. It tells that story that you have inside that you don't necessarily put in your statement.
Mm-hmm. And just for people, if they're writing something out that is maybe a little bit more personal, just know that it's just the artist statement and the bio statement that goes into the catalog and becomes the wall text. That optional statement won't be printed if you are worried about that part. And then that might help you then think about, like, what does the optional statement share with Joannah when reviewing this? Oh, that's good thoughts. And then Brian, thinking about this exhibition, since this exhibition is going to be connected, obviously, during Confab, and it's in the galleries, it'll be open for a month before Confab for all of the students at University of Central Arkansas. What opportunities do you recognize artists are going to have to be able to engage with in this larger context with these audiences?
Well, one of the things that's going to give them opportunity to not only share their work with the UCA community, but also we have a downtown component, whereas we have about, 55, 65 roundabouts here in the city, and they're starting to put sculptures in those spaces. And so there may be opportunity for artists to show in this gallery, may have a connection with the city of Conway or the downtown partnership about possibly commission them to do a piece for the roundabout. So that's one of the things they're going to have an opportunity to do when they show their work here, is sort of that getting to meet people that they don't know, expose their work to people who are not familiar with their work, and maybe something the city of Conway see may catch their eye.
That's a great idea. I hadn't thought about that, how this gallery exhibition might also be the opening to even more opportunities. So you're there for Confab, your work is on display for a whole month, and it might open up a conversation that leads to one of these many roundabouts. My dad would have hated it, though. My dad could go on and on about how much he hated roundabouts. I like roundabouts, and I like that it's also an opportunity for public sculpture. That's great. Cassidy, I'm going to ask you a question if you don't mind, because Cassidy has had a unique experience with Mid-South Sculpture Alliance. I first became a member and then a board member when I was asked to jury the scholarship exhibition for Mid-South Sculpture Alliance, and it was a scholarship and scholarship exhibition. Cassidy was one of the very first recipients and was one of the people that I selected. That would have been 2017.
Yes, yeah.
2016?
It's hard because there was 2 years, Letitia. So it's, I
Yeah.
can't remember which one was the first one.
So like a
But
decade ago, Cassidy
yeah.
was on the other end, and since then has had all these other opportunities. What would be some things that you would encourage people from all the different sides that you've seen Mid-South Sculpture Alliance, confabs, our exhibitions? What would you encourage people to think about as they're applying or if they're debating whether or not to come to confab?
I think also just if you're debating on becoming a member, it's definitely worth it. I mean, you saw we have 3 calls open currently. Members get free submission. The fee is waived. You don't have to pay that. It's a great opportunity to meet a ton of sculptors, people interested in the same thing you are. We love going to these things and talking to people about what we love, and they like the same stuff. So, but it's great. I mean, I've been in it since I was a student. I started as a member in 2015. I was at the student exhibition in Atlanta. Um, and then since then, I've participated in a ton of shows on the board,
Oh, true.
conferences, confabs, and it's just a great opportunity to get to know people and be involved in the community.
You have definitely benefited from Mid-South Sculpture Alliance.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
And good plug too. Thank you. And any last thoughts that you all would like to share that haven't come up yet about the exhibition or the submission, encouragement about the application, as people have 4 days to apply?
I would just say, encourage artists. A lot of time artists are sort of skeptical about entering shows. Is my work good enough? Blah, 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 blah. This, that, and the other. Other people may be judging me and blah, blah, blah. But the thing about it is, if you don't take that chance and never do it, you never know.
So true. A surefire way to get a no is to not apply. And so,
Exactly.
yes, take that chance. And even if, because again, the galleries, we might have multiple galleries, but we can't let everything in. And so even then you're still having your eyeballs specifically of Johannah Hutchison on your work, and you never know where that might open up another door later. And so definitely I encourage you, yes, definitely apply. And before we sign off, Johannah, is there anything else that's going on at ISC that people should have their eyes out for or be looking for that's on your horizon?
We do. And I would just add to Brian, I agree. And if it's last minute, just don't try and put 3 pieces in, put 1 piece in and do it well if it's last minute. Don't rush it, do 1 piece well. The ISC, well, it's a little bit of a conflict because we have our conference coming up. So I'm sure if you've been to MSA, you might not be able to go to the ISC, but maybe you can't make it. We have our conference on October 25th, 6th, and 7th, and it's in Minneapolis. So if you can make that, that's great. And as I mentioned early on, we now have a gallery and we put open calls out. Again, if you're a member, you don't have to pay for the call. So there's lots of exciting things going on. And we have online programming too. So think about being a member or coming to our conference. It's the same. It's a bit of a larger community, but not that much larger, really. We're all one community. So. And if you can't, definitely go to MSA. I'm promoting MSA.
Oh, thanks. Well, I plan on being at both. And so come and hang out. Because yes, it's part of a larger network, and depending on what your calendar is like and what you can join. But Minneapolis, I think, is going to be a great site. Getting to go up to Minnesota.
It's going to be a great event. Yeah. Yeah.
Minnesota is a really good sculpture state. And so it's going to be, I think, a good base for this October gathering. And so thank you for the heads up about that. And I hope that Mid-South Sculpture Alliance, we start sending as many applications to your all space as we continue.
Yeah, and we'll remind you when they're going out. There is a new Instagram account, ISC Gallery, a new Instagram account, so you can keep an eye what's happening there.
Cool.
But it's new and exciting.
Excellent. Well, I want to share one last little call out just to share about where I'm based. So I'm based in Norman, Oklahoma, but I'm not coming to everybody from my usual studio or from my house office, my home office. I'm coming to everybody from the Firehouse Art Center. I'm having my coffee today in a Firehouse Art Center mug. And so I I scheduled this accidentally during my mom's been taking a painting class here at the firehouse. And so I had to pick her up, but there was just not enough time. So they were kind enough to let me take over their gallery. And so in their gallery is one of my colleagues, Sohail. He is a sculpture professor, a figure sculpture professor, and figure drawing professor, figure painting. He teaches all of those figure-based classes. And these are his students that had a show here at Firehouse. So shout out to them for being my unexpected backdrop for today. And thank you to Firehouse for letting me take over the gallery while I'm having this beautiful conversation. Again, thank you all so much for your time. Joanna, looking forward to sending all these files to you so you can start going through and imagining what this space is going to look like as we all get to experience this exhibition in October.
I'm very excited. Please send in your applications.
Excellent. Thank you all. Thank you for joining us online.
Bye.
Bye.
Live stream has been ended. So
yay, we did it.